Hey, what's up? This is Omari Haribin. Today I'm going to share with you a really simple process to get clients online using SEO and content marketing. Um, and this is something that I talk about quite a bit, but because I'm not actively, selling services at the moment, I don't have any of my own examples in real time. And so I stumbled on something last night while soul searching in business, as I often do. And I thought it would be a great example to share because it worked on me. And so things that work on me, I always make note of them, make note of what works, why, how, and try to internalize those things moving forward. And before I get into it, just on the topic of getting clients, period, having freelanced online, having freelanced in the real world, and having, been, having hired freelancers, I think you learn best once you've been on both sides. And so while you're on one side, while you're on, perhaps the initial side might be you're just trying to get clients, you can't even hire anyone yet. While you're on that side, try to be aware as much as possible of what the other, what the person you're trying to reach is going through on the other side, so that you can align what you're doing and the messages that you're communicating with them. And yeah. All right, let's get into the example here, which should demonstrate a little bit better. So I'm soul searching, and I'm like, all right, Omari, you've been doing this online business thing for like 5+ years, almost 6 years now. And, what's next? What is your next level of growth? Where do you keep running into roadblocks? And one thing that I've spent a lot of time on is email marketing. However, people might not, if you've gotten my emails over the years, I've sent plenty. You might not know this or realize it, but I've always had this kind of a nagging fear, that I'm bothering people. Even if they signed up or whatever the case may be, I've always felt like, I'm possibly being annoying, and I'm not an annoying person. So that irrational fear that I kind of dug up, and I'm like, all right, this is something I got to get out of. It led me to Google, because I said, all right, well, let me see. I'm curious. Let me see if anyone has written about this or offered any advice on this particular problem. And so I typed in a really basic query, right? I just typed in afraid of being annoying, and I just tagged on email marketing on there. Nothing fancy. And I tagged on email marketing just in case someone out there had email marketing experience and had gone through this kind of thing. And I had no idea what I would find, if anything. And so quickly, the first couple of articles that I saw pop up seemed to be coming from personal blogs. And so at least the first few. And so I opened them up in new tabs. It's kind of like quick little scroll. You look at the headline, you look at the URL, and you say, all right, with that, does that look like it's going to get me where I'm trying to go? Boom. And then I got down to here and I said, all right, I've opened up 4 links. Let's see what we got. And so I moved through them, and I saw a lot too many. This is probably like a lot of good advice. But I was like, all right, let me keep going. I really liked this image. It spoke to me. It said, I didn't want to tell you about the cliff because I didn't want to be annoying. And I'm like, oh crap, I got people out here who I could tell them about cliffs, and I'm not telling them about the cliffs. And then I stumbled on, I opened up this link right here, and I was like, oh, what is this? And the thing that stood out to me immediately was, you've got the person's name up here, but there's no other links in the navigation. And my first thought was, no one really does this. So this person is definitely intentional, or has been intentional, about how they've designed their website, And that intention is that when you get here, you're going to be focused on the thing you got here for, not anything else. And so in this headline, you get two things. You get, the thing I'm worried about, and then you have a promise, which is let's put an end to the fear. And so think about the mindset that I'm in, right? As someone searching the web, who's figured out a problem that I've now decided that I'm going to conquer, and I'm going to, solve this problem for once and for all. I've had it for long enough. I've survived with it. I've, pushed through it, regardless of whatever. But I want to put an end to it. And so when someone comes along and says, yeah, let's put an end to it, you're like, all right. So, the first intro section here of the article is really just a quick anecdote of how they've had the same experience. One story I love to tell my clients is that it took me 3 years to mention that I had services to offer in my newsletter. They didn't want to annoy people, etc. So they've been there, right? And then immediately they give you a relief. And the relief is, if you come from a place of value, annoying people won't be an issue. And so that's the first kind of you've addressed my immediate, problem, that fear of being annoying. And then part two here, we've got another relief, which is, the fear of being too salesy. And the relief is that, hey, listen, people want to do business with you. You're in business. The whole game of business is to make sales. And then finally, at the end here, there's a reframe of, that belief, which is there's a irrational belief in someone's mind, my mind, or whoever else, right? And it's like, who actually thinks you're being like, can you actually pinpoint, someone, and does that person matter in the big scheme of what you're trying to do? And that kind of, that last reframe allows you to walk away like, okay, cool. Like I have a new way to think about something, in order to get where I'm going. And then finally, the last section, get clear and get selling. It's really just this last section here, she's really just reselling you on why you got to the page, and empowering you to now kind of take the advice that you've just gotten and go do your thing. And then she also adds a small link here. I can help you overcome this, by the way, right? So she says, you may not have nailed your marketing message or who you're speaking to. That's a real thing that can happen. And it can absolutely make things feel gross. I can help you overcome this. So that's kind of like another aspect of the problem that someone might say, yeah, that's really, the prescription that I need, perhaps. And then further again, she says, like I said, if you need help, I'm here for you, right? So you say, all right, well, let me see what you have to offer, because you've already, helped solve a quick problem. There's nothing here in the footer. There's some other articles. Hold Jeff. So it's almost like a funnel, because there's only, one place for you to go next, which is to get in touch. And so here we get to a work with me sales page. Get strategic, get focused, grow your business, set yourself apart with a strategy that works for you, not against you. Take your next steps with confidence and clarity. And so obviously this person knows what they're doing, because the copy is really zeroed in on a very specific type of prospective client. There's someone who values these things, right? Strategy, getting focused, growing their business. And they've realized that perhaps certain ways that they've been going about things haven't been working in their favor, and they know that there's a way that will work in their favor. Right. And so here's the sales page. And I didn't even read too much of it. Actually, I did. I think I read this part right here, right, which is typical. It's um, you want to sell someone on themselves first, meaning you want them to kind of identify and say, yeah, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. And once they've committed to, okay, you know me, without knowing me, then you kind of got what you need to take the next step. Look, you're actively looking for the right help and the right answers, but can't seem to find either. And it's not for a lack of trying. Boom, boom, boom. You're at a breaking point. Here's the good news. This is what happens with every business. So this is all great copy, because if you remember what I just said, as I'm, going to Google and, doing my self-reflection, I'm like, all right, this is it. So all of this speaks directly to, the experience that someone is having. And then what's interesting is after having gone through all of that, you finally now know who you're talking to, right? They've finally got a picture of themselves, and now they tell you about them directly, right? Which typically when people are trying to get clients, they think the first thing I have to do is just tell you about myself and how amazing I am. When what we've just gone through is first, helping to solve a problem. With some immediate advice and some immediate recommendations, and even an immediate reframe of a belief, and then an offer to refine and to go somewhere different. Now, if you've gone through that, then you've already felt like, okay, this person understands, they'll get me, and so the next step becomes a lot more easier, right? There's all of there's all of this stuff, right? And when we're done working together, all of this will happen, and then your investment only $397. And so, if you're a business owner, this is not, that, okay, if this is a big problem and that there are hundreds, if not millions of dollars waiting for you, if you fix this problem, then this investment seems like nothing, right? It's like, all right, cool. Like that's, and check it out. It's time to breathe a sigh of relief, right? That's worth it. But not only this, right? You don't have to make that commitment today. You can book a free call. So the barrier to getting that client is you've built up rapport. You've affirmed that you understand what they're going through, and you have a solution, and you have a way for them to with no risk to evaluate if that solution is going to be good for them. And it also allows you to evaluate if they're going to be a good fit for your solution. And then finally, they have a note here that it's a beta offer, right? So, sessions like this go from $500 to $1,500 a session. And seeing that, I know, like, yeah, that's definitely, this could definitely be a $1,500 offer easily, because the magnitude of the problem and the solution, it's a small price to pay for what someone can see on the other end. And then finally, there's a link to an Acuity link to schedule a call, and let's say, and then boom, we got some questions for the discovery, and and that's it. Now you've got your client booked, and you can fill up your calendar. And so let's rewind a step, right? So this article, January 15th, 2019, so 2 years ago almost, Megan wrote this article, and this piece of content is still out there. And, anyone who comes down the line anywhere in the internet universe and goes through that same process that I just went through, or a similar path, can end up going down this road and getting in touch with Megan and, perhaps hiring her services or whatever. And, so that's it. I hope you found this, useful and helpful and inspiring in some way, because it's fun stuff. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. I don't have any offer at this very moment, but when I do, you can sign up for my emails. Go to omariharriban.com, and you'll get to find out if and when you could work with me. All right, peace.